You're standing on a windswept ramp in the American desert. In front of you, stretching into the heat haze, is an impossible lineup, every era of U.S. fighter jet lined up wingtip to wingtip. At one end, a stub-nosed, awkward prototype from World War II coughs smoke. At the other, a silent, shark-like F-35 hums with computers instead of gauges. Some of these jets were legends. Some were death traps that killed more Americans than enemies. A few were so bad they almost set U.S. aviation back years. Today, you're going to walk that line from the Bell P-59 to the F-35 and feel how America went from first fumbling steps to stealth dominance. This is every fighter jet in United States service history, the story of how each generation tried, failed, and finally rewrote the rules of air combat. You're watching Global Aircraft Studio. You put your hand on dull, olive-drab metal, the Bell P-59 era Comet, America's first jet fighter in 1942. It looks like a prop plane that lost its propeller, because that's basically what it is. It's slow, unstable, and never sees combat. Only 66 are built, but as test pilots wrestle this thing into the air over California, they're learning the basics: how jet engines spool up, how they stall, how they fail. The P-59 is a necessary embarrassment. A few steps down the line, you reach the smooth, silver curves of the Lockheed P-80 Shooting Star. 1945. The war is ending, but this jet arrives just in time to matter later. Over 1,700 are built. In Korea, pilots in Shooting Stars will finally take American jets into real combat. The P-80 doesn't just fly, it works. And its trainer version, the T-33, will teach generations of U.S. and Allied pilots how to handle jets. Now the concrete under your boots changes color from land-based gray to the non-skid of a carrier deck. Here, in navy blue, sits the McDonnell Fay Phantom and the North American FJ-1 Fury. Late 1940s, the first purely jet-powered aircraft to land on U.S. carriers. They're underpowered, short-ranged, and produced in tiny numbers. But they prove something huge. Ahead of you, the shapes start to look more familiar. You stop beside a swept-wing fighter with a bubble canopy and a big six-gun grin, the North American F-86 Sabre. It's 1949. You're now in Korea. If you close your eyes, you can almost hear the radio calls. MiG-15s high over the Yalu River, contrails crossing like sword strokes. Over 9,000 Sabres are built. American pilots in these jets will duel Soviets and MiGs in the world's first large-scale jet versus war. The F-86 becomes the face of U.S. air power, and it proves that American fighters can win in the new age. Next to it, a sturdier, meaner-looking jet, the Republic F-84 Thunderjet. Thousands built. In Korea, they fly low and dirty, escorting bombers, attacking ground targets, soaking up flak. They're not glamorous, but they are workhorses. Down the row, carrier jets from the same era, Grumman F-9F Panthers and McDonnell F-2H Banshees. You can almost feel the deck pitching under you, smell jet fuel and salt as these early Navy fighters launch into gray Korean skies. Then the shapes get stranger. You reach a hulking, twinning interceptor, the Northrop F-89 Scorpion, bristling with rockets. This is the early Cold War. The mission is simple and terrifying: intercept Soviet bombers in the dark, possibly with nuclear-tipped Genie rockets. Next, thin, needle-nosed interceptors, F-94 Starfires, F-102 Delta Daggers, F-106 Delta Darts, all-weather, supersonic, built to sprint up, smash incoming bombers, and vanish. These jets are pure Cold War paranoia turned into aluminum and afterburner. But not everything in this line is a success. You stop at the weird, tailless FOD F-7U Cutlass. It looks like it's from 50 years in the future and flies like a bad dream. Engine failures, structural problems, fatal accidents. Navy pilots nickname it the gutless Cutlass. It's the price of pushing too far, too fast. Right next to it, another cautionary tale, a razor-winged bullet called the Lockheed F-104 Starfighter. Mach 2. Knife-thin wings. A rocket with a man in it. On paper glorious. In reality brutally unforgiving. In some air forces, especially in Europe, accident rates skyrocket. The Starfighter becomes the lawn dart. You walk past them and into the Vietnam era. Here stands the McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II, huge, loud, and armed to the teeth. Over 5,000 built. Navy, Air Force, Marines, everyone flies the Phantom. It bombs, it intercepts, it dogfights. In Vietnam, it becomes both feared and hated, powerful but originally built with missiles instead of guns, at a time when close-in dogfights are very much not dead. Beside it, a sleeker Navy jet, the Vought F-8 Crusader, the last gunfighter. F-8 pilots in Vietnam pride themselves on their guns and kill ratios, sneering that missile-armed F for crews are amateurs. Farther down, the massive Republic F-105 Thunderchief the Thud, a Mach 2 strike fighter carrying the heaviest bomb load of any single-seat jet in the war. Many don't come back. You keep walking, and suddenly the silhouettes become more familiar, almost iconic. A twin-tail, swinging Predator crouches on the deck, the Grumman F-14 Tomcat. It's 1974, the Cold War at sea. The Tomcat, armed with Phoenix missiles that can reach out 100 miles, defends carrier battle groups from waves of bombers and cruise missiles that never quite arrive. It becomes a legend on screen and off, the face of U.S. naval airpower for 3 decades. Next to it, the McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle stands with purposeful stance. Born in 1976 from a simple idea, not a pound for air-to-ground, the Eagle is built to win the air war outright. In combat, F-15s go on to claim over 100 air tour kills with 0 losses. No other fighter in U.S. service history has a record like that. At its wingtip, a smaller, more agile jet, the General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcon. Originally a lightweight day fighter in 1978, it grows into a true multi-role platform, bombing, dogfighting, SEAD, you name it. With over 4,600 built, it becomes the most numerous Western fighter ever. A few steps farther, the Navy's answer, the F-18 Hornet, entering service in 1983. Finally, one jet can do both F and a fighter and attack. Blue Angels fly it. Marines fly it low over dirt. Carriers rely on it. Behind it, bigger and more refined, the F-18EF Super Hornet carries that legacy into the modern fleet. Then, the line turns a corner into something new. A black, faceted shape almost absorbs the light, the Lockheed F-117 Nighthawk. Not fast, not agile, but invisible. America's first operational stealth fighter, entering service in secret in the 1980s. It slips through defenses in Panama, Iraq, the Balkans, proving that radar can be beaten not by speed, but by disappearing. Past it, a smooth, lethal Raptor-like form, the F-22 Raptor, the world's first 5th-generation air superiority fighter. 2005. Super cruisy, stealth, insane agility, sensor fusion. Only 187 ever built, but to this day, no one doubts what it would do in a real fight. And finally, you stand in front of the F-35 Lightning II. Sensors instead of steam gauges. Data links instead of just radios. 3 variants A, B, and C for Air Force, Marines, and Navy. It's noisy, controversial, insanely expensive, and quietly becoming the default frontline fighter of the United States and its allies. You look back down the line, from the shaky Bell P-59 that never saw combat, to stealth fighters that can kill without ever being seen. You've just walked through every era of U.S. fighter jet history. Most people will only ever see these aircraft in museums, movies, or grainy combat footage. You've just had them all in front of you in one pass. And here's the wild part, the story doesn't end with the F-35. Right now, in hangars you'll never see, engineers are shaping the next generation, 6th-gen fighters, unmanned wingmen, hypersonic weapons. One day, they'll join this same lineup. If you want to keep walking that line with us jet by jet, mission by mission, hit subscribe to Global Aircraft Studio, like this video, and tell me in the comments.